Hello, everyone. How are you? As stated in my previous podcast, I'm going to talk about distractions today. I'm going to break this up into maybe a 2, 3 part series so that way it gives us time to go over everything. If you have any questions, I can also answer and address them. And if anyone wants to reach out and have a conversation with me in regards to some of the things I go over, that would be fine too. I also want to state that just because I state in the podcast that it works for me doesn't mean that it'll work for you. And just because I talk about some of the things that I dealt with may not be some of the things that you'll deal with or that you're dealing with, but I'm using this to give you an idea of the things or the potential things that could be distractions in your life, or that could be keeping you from what you're really seeking to be in your life. So let's start with distractions. Distractions are things that keep you or keep us from living a life of intention or purpose. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what, if anything, is distracting us? It could be our very own thoughts, switching focuses prematurely, our phones, clutters around us and in our lives, our routine, which we are afraid to sometimes change, the TV, not having or even having a to-do list, and also caring about what people think. Now let's take a moment and ask ourselves, what is keeping you from things that matter, things that need your attention, time, and or focus? So take some time and think about that. Well, now that you've done that, hopefully you wrote them down so you can address them and see if I can give you tips on how to identify them. And then if even if it's not the things that I talk about in this series, it could be something that I've dealt with, but it didn't have that impact on me like it's having on you. And we can go over it. If not, then you can also purchase books. You can read other literature on that thing, and maybe you can gain insight on how to conquer it for yourself. So one of the things I want to share with you that was distracting me was my very own thoughts. And I had to identify, or I shouldn't even say identify, I had to say to myself, if it's your thoughts, change them. For me, I changed my thought process by surrounding myself with nothing but positive people. Somewhere, either in self-discovery, living their purpose, and many who aren't afraid to share their journey, but they were all positive. I started reading books to let me know or help me identify the things that I didn't know that had me afraid of moving forward and put those thoughts in my head of why I wouldn't be successful. Once I eliminated those negativities within myself, and I was surrounding myself with people who were very positive and were pushing and looking for the same things that I was looking for, it made my journey a lot easier. Don't get me wrong. I do have still a couple negative people there, but I call them my negative positives. They are negative, but they can go to positive quick. They're positive and they can go to negative quick. But either way, they give me an even balance. And when they do give me the negativity, I use the negativity to generate, I guess, a light or a faucet for me to identify things that could potentially arise that I will need to somewhere in there identify. And that's what my negative, positive people do for me. So yes, I do keep a couple, but 80% of the people that I'm around are very positive. And if I do enter a negative conversation or a negative group, I gradually back up out of it because we have to remember anything negative will drain a positive. Look that up. Next thing I would like to talk about in this series is switching focuses prematurely. was not easy for me to conquer. That was one of the biggest things for me because I'm the type of individual that can think of 14 things in one day and I used to try to accomplish all 14 things. By the end of the day, I didn't accomplish anything because I was trying to give a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. I was tired, but nothing was finished. So I had to go back and really think like, Maria, what are you going to do to fix this? So I started writing the things down that I wanted to do, even if it was 12 things in a day. And I started chopping away at it one thing at a time. And I would carry whatever I didn't finish over until my next day and try to chop that down. So I was working on learning I was teaching myself how to work on one thing at a time. And to my surprise, working on one thing at a time, when I got to some of the things that were on the further down the list, I had already accomplished half of what was required to accomplish that very task. So if you're like me and you have a lot of things on your plate, and then if you're the opposite of me and you don't have enough things on your plate, then you need to generate things to add on your plate so you are moving productively every day. But don't focus on one thing at a time. Do not switch your focus prematurely, because at the same time, moving prematurely to the next thing could keep you from a blessing or meeting your purpose all in the same breath. Really think about that. So some of the things that you set out to do 3 months ago, maybe even a year ago, might be actually keeping you from your purpose because prematurely you went from that to something else. And you have to go back, or not even go back. You have to start now completing that task from back then. And it's okay. It's okay. It's worth it. So try it. The next series I'm going to do, which will be tomorrow, which is Monday, March 30th, 2020. Wow. We're almost into April, guys. Are you ready? I'm going to go over your phones, how your phones can be a distraction, and how clutter around you and in our lives could be a distraction. Oh my gosh. That's going to be one of my favorite things, because those that know me know I'm OCD, and you'll be surprised how someone with OCD can create distractions in their own walk. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you soon.